Jimmy and JoAnne, we've got another really special show tonight. We're going to be joined by one of my very favorite guests, aside from you guys, of course. I'm talking about Senator Richard Black. He'll be with us when we begin our sponsor exclusive segment on patreon.com/James and JoAnne Moriarty, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Before we connect with the senator, do you want to share with us a little bit about what we'll be discussing tonight?
Yeah, Senator Black is going to come on and talk about what's happening in Virginia. He spoke at a rally there recently. He's also going to speak about the COVID, and he's going to talk about tyranny, I think. We talked to him on the phone about things he wanted to talk about.
He's very insightful, and
he
is defined that any country that has the same parties making the laws and enforcing them, that's a tyrannical society, not democratic at all. And he said what's happened here in the United States is that the executive and the judicial have been blended together, and so it was bad enough the judges were orchestrating or legislating from the bench, but now they're openly doing it, and we've got the executives in 49 of the states
governors
that have overreached.
They're writing their own laws and enforcing their own laws.
Yeah.
He was telling us he's going to talk about that, and Senator Black is very insightful, and he's very well spoken about. He knows he's been the Pentagon, he's been in many places in the war, he was a senator in Virginia, and he understands the politics, and he's very concerned about the United States. He says it appears we could be heading for a French-type revolution.
And we're seeing that too. People all over the United States are angry with their local officials and their governors and stuff like that. So, that's not a good omen. But
no. Senator Black is always so even-handed in his delivery and so insightful in the information that he brings us. I really wish he would be more recognized by President Trump. I think he told us last time he was with us that he would want to have an opportunity to serve as the Secretary of State. And frankly, there's few people I've ever met that have a more even temper, and he just exudes wisdom, experience. I mean, the man's a Vietnam veteran, common sense. He's been around the world. He's made so many personal sacrifices of his own health and safety as a veteran of the Vietnam War. He's told us about how he was a JAG officer, and of course, he's an attorney. His latest career was in politics as a Virginia state senator. And it would be really helpful, I think, to all of America if Senator Black were given the opportunity to ascend to a political role of national prominence, whether that be Secretary of State, Attorney General. It seems like we've got all these swamp monsters over there, and since the senator is so skilled at catching snakes, he'd be the right man for the job.
Yeah,
that's true. He's a great statesman. He really is. Yeah. He's not a politician.
Very well versed. He always researches his topic and everything, and God bless him. We're going to be real proud to have him on again tonight.
Yeah, people always learn when they listen to him because he's very, very thoughtful. He thinks out things, and he went to Syria twice to meet the president Assad because he wanted to understand the truth of what was happening in Syria, and he speaks very eloquently about the truth of Syria and what has happened over there. So. He's a man that educates himself before he makes a decision, and it's kind of refreshing to have someone like that.
Plus,
absolutely,
the emails that were released that, of course, the CIA, FBI, both, and all of them had in their hands forever, discloses the fact that Hillary and her minions made the statement that Belhaj, who is an absolute terrorist, is their boy. He is her boy. To take over Libya, and in her emails, they also openly declare that their plan is to convert Libya into an Islam state, And that's part of this disclosure that was just released in the last couple of weeks. So a lot of information on that, again, should make your blood boil and wonder how in the world is this Eel woman family and group still walking the streets.
Yeah,
Right.
then we're gonna, the information on Turkey, a little bit of Turkey information, and also on Egypt and their what's happening with the Egyptian army, and then we're gonna do a little bit of update on Texas. We had Shelley Luther last week, and the runoff date has been set for December 19th against Drew Springer. He's the swamp monster here in Texas.
Yep.
She's
It
gonna
was great having
the knight
Shelley
in
on
shining
last
armor.
week.
Yeah, she's gonna help Texas a lot. And then Jimmy has some stuff on banking and COVID that he's going to share. It'll be all in the PDF that we put out.
Some disclosures by the CDC that they never had an isolated example of this novel coronavirus called COVID-19 or whatever. They've never had a sample of it. And if you don't have a sample of something, what you got is a made up something. And so this is real telling. Plus, Fauci came out last week and said, well, masks really don't do any good. We know that, but it's a psychological tool.
Well, just for a minute back on Shelley Luther, I wanted to remind people who maybe missed our show last week, they can check it out. Shelley is running for Texas State Senate there, and it's important that people visit shelleyluther.org and learn more about what she's doing. I just feel so strongly about supporting people like Shelley Luther who have risen up from the ranks just of civilians to join politics, not because they're trying to bilk the people of Texas like so many people who are already in these political roles, but because people have had enough. And I don't know that everybody is prepared for this concept of a coming revolution. So I always appreciate when we have people like Shelley. She's a mom, she's a business owner. She really is a hero in my view, trying to resolve these problems from the inside out by getting in there and getting into the system. So I just want to make sure everybody saw our show last week with Shelley Luther. And even if you're not in Texas and not able to vote, you can support Shelley's campaign by going to shelleyluther.org. I should also mention that people can support Jimmy and JoAnne by visiting their webpage, LibyanWarTheTruth.com. If you haven't seen the show before, Jimmy and JoAnne were there in Libya when the destruction began, and they've assembled this DVD, Escape from Al-Qaeda. It's a great way to learn about their story. Jimmy and JoAnne are the only two known individuals to have escaped the clutches of Al-Qaeda, which would have meant certain death. And General Michael Flynn has said that Jimmy and JoAnne are the best source of human intelligence the United States government has ever had on Libya. So that's an amazing distinction. And I hope that people will tune in on patreon.com/James and JoAnne Moriarty, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. We're going to do a little bit of a short intro here. We need to kind of get ready for the senator, and there's some technical things we need to take care of to accommodate his schedule. So hopefully people will join us there at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Anything else you guys would like to add before we get ready?
I'd like to add one thing about
Sure.
Shelley Luther. She is a patriot, and she's a real brave woman. She went to jail to keep her beauty salon open so that her 19 workers could feed their families.
She's not a beautician.
She's not a beautician. She was a school teacher, taught high school for 13 years.
Spanish.
But
She's not
she
Spanish.
absolutely is such a brave gal. She said, I would not compromise my position, and I'm not going to apologize for keeping my salon open so people could feed their families.
I think her show we did with you is on YouTube, isn't it, Jason?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's
But,
an
you know,
open
people can
show.
check it out.
She walks the
Yeah.
walk. She's a real bright gal, very articulate, and we need to have we need to have really 537 more just like her.
Absolutely.
infiltrate Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's right. And would you show that picture, that mosaic, as we go? And
Oh, yes,
tell people
right. And just real quick to address the point that you brought up, JoAnne, it's always a balance for us. We want, obviously, as many people as possible to see the videos that we're bringing out, but so many of our social media channels are getting crushed. Crowdsource the Truth was just taken off of Facebook. People have heard, I've spoken quite a bit about the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences trying to shut down the YouTube channel. Thankfully, just last week, my appeal to YouTube's legal department has us back broadcasting on YouTube, but we got to be very careful about what we say. We don't want to get kicked off of YouTube again. We've got some additional protection with the shows that we broadcast on patreon.com/James and JoAnne Moriarty, as well as subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsource the truth. But even that has been attacked by Vimeo, owned by Barry Diller's Interactive Corporation, where Chelsea Clinton sits on the board and was basically given, I think, $10 million in stock at the age of 31 with exactly zero business experience to be a board member of this multi-billion-dollar thing. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, though, that they keep striking the channel. People who become sponsors of Crowdsource the Truth are going to help in financing the new video server that will be online very soon. Our future shows will be on that platform that cannot be shut down by these draconian terms of service. Of course, we always abide by the law, and we're not disseminating any defamatory or incendiary information, but we're in a time frame where even questioning the policies of our supposedly elected and even in many cases unelected public, whatever they are, that can get you thrown off for lack of free speech. Now, JoAnne, why don't you tell us what we're about to look at here?
This is a mosaic of Kamala Harris, and it is a mosaic made out of all black men that she locked up and kept in prison past their release date for extra labor. Some of them even died, were put to death. They were on death row, and she held the exculpatory, is that what it is? Exculpatory evidence until after he was his life was ended. And she had evidence that could have proved he didn't do the crime he was accused of. So people need to understand who this woman is, and any black person ought to be really angry at her. She's not black.
Yeah.
She's not black. She's East Indian and Haitian or something. She's not. She has no black in her, no African in her at all. So for her to claim that is not correct. But this is something she did that is really heinous. And
when she was the AG in California.
Yeah, when she was the AG in California.
Wow.
She is not a good person, and she's not anybody you want as a leader.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think her father was Jamaican, but that's a
Maybe it was Jamaican.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
minor detail
Jamaican.
there. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to give people plenty of time to join us over on Patreon and Subscribestar, and we're going to connect with the senator here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't miss this interview starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Patreon and Subscribestar. We'll see everybody there. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank
all.
you, Jason.